I went to a public high school in New Jersey. It wasn't particularly old, but it felt ancient. The building had long halls that echoed even when no one was speaking, and the walls were this awful shade of beige that seemed to suck the life out of everything. There was one room in particular everyone avoided, room 213. It was at the end of the East Wing, near the music department. It used to be a chemistry lab back in the early 2000s, but something happened. Something nobody ever talked about directly. If you asked the staff about it, they'd say the room was just under maintenance. If you asked the students, they'd laugh it off, say it was haunted, and move on. But the strange thing is, no one ever went in. No teachers, no janitors, no staff. The door was always locked, the blinds always drawn, and the hallway lights near that room always flickered, no matter how often they replaced them. One Thursday afternoon, I had detention. Just me and this other kid, Brian, who was kind of a jerk, but not terrible. We had to stay after school for 90 minutes because we were late to gym for like the 5th time that month. Mr. Chambers, the English teacher who oversaw detention, left the room around 3:45 to take a phone call. "Stay here, I'll be back in 5, he said. He didn't come back. After about 20 minutes, Brian got bored and said, "Let's explore. Ever been down the East Wing when it's empty?" I should have said no, but I followed him. We wandered past the math wing, past the art rooms, until we reached the East Corridor. It was off. You could feel it immediately. Cold, still, heavy in the air, like the hallway itself was holding its breath. Then we saw it, room 213, and for the first time ever, the door was open. Just a crack, enough to see that the lights inside were off, but not pitch black. It looked abandoned. Dusty desks, toppled stools, old lab gear still scattered around like people had left in a hurry and never came back. We stood there for a second. I didn't want to go in, but Brian, of course, he pushed the door wider, and it made this long, low, creaking sound that echoed down the hallway. "Let's just look inside," he whispered. 2 minutes. We stepped in, and immediately I wanted to turn back. The air inside was wrong. It smelled of rust, mold, and something sharp, like metal. There were faded stains on the floor. Not red, but a dark brown, almost black. I convinced myself it was coffee. Brian wandered to the back, where the old fume hoods used to be. I stayed by the door. Then suddenly, I heard a soft clink. Then again, and again, like glass tapping glass. "Dude," Brian whispered. "Look at this." There was a single beaker on one of the desks. It had some liquid in it, dark red. Neither of us touched it. But the beaker? It was vibrating slightly, like something was pulsing inside it. Then we both heard the scream. Not loud, not dramatic. It was worse. It was muffled, choked, like someone trying to scream through a pillow underwater. Brian bolted. I tried to follow, but the door was closed, and the knob wouldn't turn. I slammed my hand against it, trying to yank it open. Nothing. Brian was shouting on the other side. Then the lights began to flicker, and the room got cold. Freezing cold. Then something moved in the corner, a shape, a figure. It had no eyes, no face, just a long, smooth head like it had been burned or melted. And it was wearing a lab coat. Its arms dragged along the floor. It didn't walk, it glided. I backed away until my spine hit the blackboard. It raised one arm slowly and pointed at me, and then I heard the voice. Not out loud, in my head, like a pressure. "You open the door." Suddenly the door flung open behind me. I fell out backward, gasping. Brian grabbed my arm and pulled me to my feet. We ran, neither of us looking back. We never talked about it again. Mr. Chambers told us later he had been called to the front office and forgot to come back. He didn't even remember assigning detention. On Monday, I checked the door to room 213 again. Locked. Blinds shut, like nothing ever happened. I asked the librarian about the room. She paused, then whispered something I'll never forget. There was a fire, 2003, chemistry experiment gone wrong. One student and the teacher, they never made it out. They were trapped, screaming. No one could reach them. She looked down. They say if you open the door, you let them back in.